Yeah, I'm Patrick Horan. I'm a solicitor, primarily in drink driving, road traffic, but primarily those two areas and no other area really.
How did you come to be a solicitor?
I had been in the Guards for 10 years, from July 97 to October 2007. And during that time, I was studying law by night. And once I qualified, I wanted to kind of keep going into law. It wasn't easy back then. It's not easy for people today trying to get into it. It's hard to get an apprenticeship. But I did that, got in, and did my training, and then worked in a criminal law office in Cork for a couple of years and got some good experience there, and decided then to ultimately set up my own business.
How does that work, jumping from trying to catch people drink driving to trying to get people off?
Well, you see, I remember, I kind of look at it a little bit differently. I know some, certainly when I was in the Guards, you'd be kind of frustrated sometimes. You know, why is this person contesting this case? You know, the conventional view was, well, you know what you did. You know, broke the law. So, you know, why are we contesting it? Why are we fighting it? And it was only really, that was like me looking at it from my point of view. But then, once I got to the defence side, I could understand the client's point of view. This is the end of the world for them if they go off the road, because they're going to lose their licence, they're going to maybe lose their job, they could lose their mortgage because they can't pay, because they can't work, because they need a car for work. They could end their marriage. It's just drastic consequences for them. And so when you see it from that point of view, then you can understand why people want to contest and fight things, and I get that. And so when I do that kind of stuff, when we do contest cases, it's never a personal thing. It's trying to keep a person on the road. Obviously, no one wants to see people on the road drink driving, of course. I'm not certain I agree with the idea that just because you got arrested once and you're being prosecuted for it, that the law should hammer you the way it does in this country. If you plead guilty to it, or you're found guilty, you are going off the road no matter what. There is no kind of special reason to have that in the UK. It doesn't apply over here. You may be a person who's a sole carer for an elderly parent, or you might have a disabled child. A judge can't do anything about that because the law says you must put them off the road. So when you see it from the human point of view, human interest point of view, I keep that kind of focus, that it's about them and it's about trying to do your best by them. But that's what I do, try and keep them on the road.
What was it like being a guard, maybe compared to now? What's it like being a solicitor?
Well, I enjoyed my time in the Guards. I made a lot of good friends. I'm still friends with a lot of them. They would jibe and joke at me when they see me doing what I do now. But, you know, vast majority of them are good people. Really, really good people. They're some of the best people I ever knew were in the Guards and still are, you know. I'm not sure I'd like to be in that job now. I don't like the way it's going.
Some of the stuff that they have to put up with is unbelievable that you see online.
Oh, it's terrible. Especially these idiots who are sticking phones in their faces and all this kind of stuff. Thankfully, I left the job in 2007, and the smartphones only came out that year. And I didn't have to deal with any of that sort of nonsense. But yeah, there is an element of people out there who like sticking phones in people's faces and sticking phones in guards' faces, and I think it's really pretty bad. But yeah, I do feel sorry for them that way. Yeah, it's a big problem.
What does a typical day for you now as a solicitor? What does that look like?
But a typical week involves a lot of driving from one place to the other. My office is based in Cork, but I'm never really in the office. I'm on the road all the time, or I'm in court, one of those two. So I'm on the road a lot of the time. It could be 3 days a week. It could be in 3 different counties, all around the country, from one side to the other. So it's a lot of driving for me. But when it goes right, it's great for people. It's great, and that's the most important thing, really.
Satisfying?
That is because it is like it's satisfying if you win. You know, if you lose, it's not so good. And I kind of keep that in my mind all the time. That it's not about me. I don't really care about me. It's about that person and their life and what's going on for them. And you kind of hear the same kind of stories all the time. You know, there's a pattern with drink driving. For men and for women. For women, there's a real pattern of when they get arrested. Like women in any country account for 10% of all criminal activity. 90% of all laws that are broken by men, everywhere in the world. Like there's various different reasons for that, I'm sure, but women only account for 10% of lawbreakers. But they account for about 40 to 45% of my client base. Like nearly half of them are women. And when you speak to them a lot, and I do, a lot of it's on the phone, same kind of conversations come up. They're eager to tell you this never happened to them before, and it hasn't. Like they've never been in trouble before. But they're really, really hard on themselves. Women are much harder on themselves when it comes to drink driving than men. Men are hard on themselves, obviously, but women they take it to a whole new level of sometimes, like it's self-criticism is really heavy. And shame, mortification, I have a lot of tears, crying. Embarrassment is huge. You know, they feel like they're a bad mother. You know, that people will look down. People will assume if you get arrested for drink driving, their belief is that people will assume I was in the pub all day drinking, and that I decided at the end of the day, well, let's take a chance. That never happens. Like that just doesn't happen.